welcome to the family with
Mike Bryant.
Andy Brant Bernard.
Oh, Kristen Burt.
Oh,
There she is.
nice voice tone you got there, Michael Bryant.
Well, Kristen Burt was there. I was surprised.
She kicks off the show now.
Pop up.
Oh,
like that.
it's phenomenal. She starts the show and she goes for like 20 minutes and then it doesn't, run right into her next duties.
Excellent.
That's right.
So it works for me. We'll take a break. Be right back in just about 2 minutes. Kristen Burt will kick it off. Michael Bryant in studio. Andy, Tom, the whole show. Be right back.
From Bradshaw and Bryant, Michael Bryant. What's up, Allie?
Oh, not much. Doing my usual thing of telling people they shouldn't be texting and driving. In Minnesota, you can't have your phone in your hands. You can use, hands-free, but you can't have your phone in your hand for whatever reason. And that's why they made the law the way they did, so that police officers could see a phone in your hand and you got no excuse for why you got it there.
Do people know that that's the law?
I hope so. I mean, they used to follow it, and then kind of COVID kind of made people forget. And now it's like a freewheeling world out there with cell phones.
Let's say you get pulled over because you do have a phone in your hand and you're not watching where you're going. You got to be in pretty big trouble then, I would guess.
Well, the first one's not as bad. It's the multiple ones, the problem. And once people start stacking them up, then they have a big problem. And then what we're doing in car accidents is we've started bringing motions for punitive damages, because I'm trying to use the civil law any way we can to stop this, because it needs to stop.
Whenever I'd had any problems in my life, who was that I called again? It was like an MB, something like that.
Bradshaw and Bryant.
Why should your business bank with North American Banking Company? Here's Austin Bartz of Bartz Lawn and Landscape and Bartz Snow Sculptures.
I started banking with North American, I think, 3.5 years ago. All the people know me by name. I know them by name. It's fun to come into the bank and actually talk to somebody you know. So I made the switch and I'm very happy. It's the best bank I've ever been at.
So why not bank where I bank? With my friends at North American Banking Company. To learn more about North American Banking Company, go to nabankco.com. That's nabankco.com, or do what I do and stop by any one of their 6 Twin Cities locations. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
You're listening to the Tom Bernard podcast.
Why do you do those things to me? Now I'm going to be tearing up the rest of the show, you pill.
We recorded it yesterday after you left.
Did you play it again?
Is that his first appearance on the show?
Yes.
Technically, I think
No, 4
so.
generations.
Yeah, I can play it again.
Because my mother was on.
Your mother was never on
Not the podcast.
Yes, she was.
No, she
I
wasn't.
don't think
Maybe she's on the
so.
KQ show, but not on
Well,
the
wait a minute, she
podcast.
died in 2008.
Yeah.
Because
would've
she-
been-
Oh, she's on the KQ show. You're right.
Right.
She
Yep.
was on the KQ show. Then 3 generations after that, been on this podcast.
But now 3 grandkids have been on.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Mhm.
And when the other one's a little too young to even be on.
Ethan was technically on the show yesterday, but he basically just said he didn't want to talk.
Could you play that one more time for me?
Sure.
You're listening to the Tom Bernard podcast.
Sounds just like me. Kristen, do you think Kristen's muted.
There we go. Gotcha.
There we go.
Baby voice is so cute.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that stuff to me is just heaven. It's just the greatest thing. The fact that he even want to do that is great.
Yep.
You're listening to
He did
the
a
Tom Bernard podcast.
pretty good job for 3.
I think he did a great job.
Did
for-
awesome.
No doubt about it. Kristen Bird, I got up this morning, did a little walking, moving around, getting stuff taken care of. And I don't know if you noticed or not, but your name came up a number of times. I'm gonna appear on the on KFan tomorrow at 8:00 tomorrow morning. And I'm going to do a game show with them. So far, I've seen 200,000 mentions of it on social media in one day.
Nice.
They got some people listening to that show, apparently.
That's great.
They do a pretty good job. So, yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. There's no question about it. So when they ask me about you, I'll go, well, What do you think?
She's annoying.
So you only have good news, I'm assuming.
I have interesting news.
Oh,
It's like
interesting. Okay.
James Bond.
Yeah.
And if anyone who's followed the James Bond franchise knows that the Broccoli family has a stronghold on it.
Yep.
They have given creative control to Amazon MGM.
What?
Wow.
I don't know.
Shock
about that.
move. Everyone is, it's been kind of a stunning move because they have been so tightly, had that firmly in their grasp. So what's going to happen is Michael Wilton, who was the Cubby Broccoli, who was obviously, the author of and creator of James Bond. That was his stepfather. And then
Mhm.
his half sister, Barbara Broccoli, just to get everyone's name out of the way there. Michael is retiring, wants to retire from film. And Barbara realized she couldn't do it all alone. So they gave creative control to Amazon MGM. And I'll tell you, this franchise has been in limbo because the last time we saw a James Bond film was 2021.
Really?
Yeah.
would
4
be.
years.
Yeah.
Don't you wish your name was Barbara Broccoli?
Barbara Broccoli. And Cubby Broccoli is so, like, it's
So-
such a random. I mean,
it
he was
sounds
Albert
like
Broccoli, but
Tolkien's
everyone
book.
called him Cubby.
Cubby Broccoli and Barbara Broccoli. It sounds like a book about learning to eat your vegetables.
It's like
Mhm.
Veggie Tales.
Mhm.
So is the thought they'll change Bond again?
Well, Daniel Craig is retired from the role. So there's
Right.
always
Okay.
been big speculation as to who is going to step into the James Bond role now. Nobody's been able to agree. Actors have been, talked about, but it just looks like it's going to be a different generation with Amazon MGM. And, Barbara's still staying on as an advisor. She still has, money in the company. It's, there's still endgame for her, but it's one of those situations where the James Bond that we all knew, that's gone.
Yeah.
Oh
right.
yeah. Well,
Yeah.
You want my guess?
Yeah.
It'd be a black woman named Jamie Bond.
Jamie Bond.
Jamie
I'm a
Bond.
woman.
I do think it'll be a woman. Absolutely.
Hmm.
They cannot stop
That's kind of true.
pissing all over white men. They just can't
Well,
stop.
That
It's never going to end.
Yeah, I don't think it would be an offense to white men. I think it would be more of a trying to see what would bring.
No, I'm not saying offense to white men.
Mhm.
When's the last time you saw a white guy that did a halfway decent job on television or in a movie?
Oh, I watched the second
Homer
juror.
Simpson.
He did a good job yesterday. Yeah, I watched that last night.
But every commercial now, because I was in the commercial business for 35 years, every commercial now, there are very few
Mhm.
honky men.
Well, I don't really
Very
watch
few.
commercials, so there's that.
I don't watch
No.
commercials.
Zip
I
through
don't
'em.
care.
I just
Well, I don't-
I just pay for them.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
really. The only thing that we see commercials on is Tubi, I think.
I love Tubi.
And we don't really use Tubi that often anyway.
Why not? Your son loves that jingle.
He does love the Tubi jingle, that's for sure.
He sat at our house yesterday and I had to play Tubi, Tubi
Yeah.
about 80 times. He
Just the jingle.
That's
He
the
loves it. He loves the boot up
Tubi,
screen.
Tubi.
Yep.
Well, I'd love to know, who would you put in the James Bond role?
Hmm.
Mm.
I
I'm
got
trying to
no-
think who's out there that would be good possibilities.
The big rumor for a long time was Idris Elba.
Yep. I could
And
see
I
that.
thought, I think he would be great. He doesn't want the role. He's already said that. So they've moved past that, but I thought he would have been a good choice.
Well, he's a black man, right?
Mhm.
Yep.
So
Yep.
so I am right. It's going to be a black person.
Yeah.
Almost.
I don't
certain.
think so.
I bet it
Because,
is.
no, I'm going to tell you, who the big rumor is right now? It's Aaron Taylor Johnson.
Who's that? I don't
He's a
even know.
white British
but-
actor.
Do you know what he's done?
Craven, Nosferatu, Bullet
Oh, the
Train.
Nosferatu.
Nosferatu
guy.
right now.
Yeah, I do know who that is. Yeah.
That was
But they like to take someone that's not necessarily so big. They don't want like a Tom
Right.
Cruise in the role. They want
Right.
someone who can embody the idea of James Bond.
Mhm.
And I mean, it blows up your career, but when you take the role, they don't want that super famous actor.
Yeah, has James Bond ever been like to start a hugely famous guy?
Sean Connery.
Yeah, Sean Connery was big. And
Was he
then-
in stuff before James Bond
and-
though?
Let's see, Roger Moore.
Oh yeah, Roger Moore. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what he'd been doing. Pierce Brosnan or Pierce Brosnan had done some things.
He'd been Remington Steele,
yeah.
but
Well,
I
Daniel
think-
Craig definitely had done some stuff before that.
Mhm.
but wasn't as well known internationally.
No,
And that's, you have
yeah.
to remember, the international property. So
Yeah.
Yeah, before Dr. No, Sean Connery, I mean, he had been in stuff, but I haven't heard of any of it.
Yeah.
The Longest Day, Frightened City, On the Fiddle, Darby O'Gill and the Little People.
Mhm.
Oh, I remember
That was a
Darby
great,
O'Gill.
that was a
You
great
know,
movie.
it was.
Actually.
Smash hits, all of them.
Okay, Kristen, I got to take one quick moment here. Would you name those 3 TV series that you named yesterday? Because I was trying to look for them and I forgot what they were.
I love it. Paradise on Hulu. You've got to continue watching that.
Paradise. So I got to watch that. And then what's the next one?
Doc, which is on Fox.
So how do I forget Paradise and Doc? How
Yeah.
can I forget the one
know.
word?
Is Doc the one where she comes back from the amnesia? Is that one?
Yeah, with
Okay.
Molly Parker. It's a really great
Paradise,
series.
Doc,
Good.
What's the next one?
And The Pitt,
Is it about-
PITT, which is on Max.
It's about Brad Pitt.
No.
Yeah, exactly. It's about Brad Pitt and his affair with Angelina Jolie. No, it's a medical drama in the
well-
emergency room. 15 episodes. Each episode represents 1 hour in that emergency room.
I got to be
Okay.
honest with you because I couldn't remember the name of any of them, and I didn't want to bother you with it. I last night watched episodes 4 and 5 of season 1 of Criminal Minds.
No, not bad.
Great
It's good TV.
show.
Nothing wrong with that.
Great.
You can text me though. I was working last night, so you could have texted me.
Big show. What were you doing last night?
I was shooting the cover. I'm not on the cover, but I was shooting the cover subject for Inside Dance magazine, and I did the interview with the talent.
Marvelous. No
Yeah.
question about it. Okay, I got to get this is on my mind, and I'm sorry this has nothing to do with what we're talking about or any of that. But I also, because I couldn't find anything else to watch, I watched old episodes of Cops, the TV series Cops.
Bad boys, bad boys. That one.
What you gonna do? Yep, that's the
What you
one.
gonna do? What are you gonna do?
They have these police women standing on the corner, and if they're summoned over by guys and the guy hits on them or tries to hire them as hookers,
Oh, they're
then they're entrapping guys.
well, it's not entrapment.
Well, it's
but,
not
you know.
entrapment. My favorite one. So these guys, they call the woman over to the woman. Hey, I got $10, that kind of deal. As it went along, it just got worse and worse and worse. They pulled this one guy out of his car. He's shirtless, and they put him. He goes, "What are you pulling me out for? I didn't say a word to her. I never offered her any money." And the cop goes, "You exposed your penis to her." He thought that was better than offering her money to be a hooker. It's like, oh, okay,
They're different crimes.
that's a different crime, totally.
Are they still filming that series? It ran for a
Like-
long time.
Mhm.
It was very big for a long time.
Let's
too.
see. I think so. Yes.
They're still doing original episodes.
God.
Yeah, they sure are. They're on season
Wow.
36 right now.
Oh my
Wow.
God.
There are 1,206 episodes of Cops.
Did you see Blue Bloods is going to Boston?
Yeah, I did
Yeah,
see that.
there
Yeah, we
go.
talked about that yesterday. Boston
Town
Blue.
is best town in the world.
Oh, because somebody grew up right next to it. Is that why? Is
No, it just got winners.
that- see,
That's all.
Rhode Island, Boston. I got to tell you honestly,
Great
though,
movies.
well, Kristen lived there.
Yeah, I grew up in Boston.
I'm just telling you, it is a if you've never been to Boston, get off your ass and go to Boston because it is a phenomenal city. And you know what I liked about it the most, Kristen?
What?
They put up with about as much stuff as I do, so I fit right in.
It's no nonsense.
It's
Yep.
no nonsense.
It
I
is
love it.
no nonsense. You know what? This is my favorite story. When I hosted a show for Toyota, we did a segment at the Boston Auto Show.
Okay.
We're going back now like 15 years.
Mhm.
And we were handing out mugs, and they said Toyota Live on them. That was our show. And we were trying to just grab a few people to sit in the audience. And we were like, we're giving away mugs. And he's like, do you want a mug? And the guy goes, co-host, and goes, I got a mug, and walked away. And it was still to
I
this
got
day,
a
we
mug.
still laugh about it. I got a mug. I got a mug at home. I don't need your mug,
Walking
people
around.
will take any sort of swag. Nope, not in Boston. They don't care.
Nope.
They got a mug.
No, they don't care. You're absolutely right. But walking around in Boston, it's one of my favorite cities to walk around in because, there's no nonsense, as you
Nope.
say, and all the rest of it. Nobody bothers you. You just walk along, you see all this magnificent stuff
Yeah.
I've talked about many times, standing next to Paul Revere's grave, and I didn't even know it. It's
Yep.
like, whoa.
I know it's all just you just kind
right
of run
there.
into it. Yep. Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, it's
That's
just
true.
It's all
very
1600s.
Yep.
It's
You wear a
so-
Yankees hat, you might be bothered.
Oh, no, you don't
Yeah.
want to wear a
Yeah,
Yankees
don't
hat.
mess with Boston fans, people. Sports fans are hardcore.
Mhm.
Well, I did mention that Tom Brady's mother grew up in the same town my mother did, so that did help me out quite a bit.
I'm sure it did.
Toots and Tom Brady's mom grew up in about 600-person town up in northern Minnesota,
Oh, yeah. It's north central. Yeah.
north central.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Does it help you now, though, that he's retired?
No, because he's worth about 400 times more money than I am.
He's worth a lot.
That boy can make some money. Well, he's a semi-handsome kid, you got to
Yeah.
admit.
Yeah, he's okay. mean,
Okay.
It's okay. I mean,
Oh,
he's
all right.
very, He's someone who is very into his image. So he's very
Yeah.
groomed and very chiseled. And I feel like he eats a dry salad instead of
Mhm.
adding salad dressing. Like that's an intense person to be around.
Yep. He's very statuesque.
He is
Yes.
statuesque. But
Mhm.
see, there are some people that don't like him. They don't think he's doing I think he's doing a great job. Why don't they
Yeah.
like him?
He's been
He was
fighting.
pretty bad at the beginning of the
Was he?
season.
Yeah.
And I thought he improved by the time I saw him at the Super Bowl. I was like, okay, someone is giving him media training behind the
Good.
scenes.
Yeah, he's getting more comfortable, and he's letting more of his personality out. So he's been good.
Yeah.
They still
And
teach
it's
voices
some
like
people
they
are
used to.
naturals and some people aren't.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's true. I think they gave up on this because I haven't. But when I was learning how to do voiceover back now, we're talking 8,000 years ago. They taught you to speak in a way that you would sing. Like sometimes you would be up here, and sometimes you'd be here, and other times you'd be down here. So instead of thinking the tone of your voice, you think of notes, how you would sing a note, and that gets people's voices. It really helps speech a lot when they teach it, musically. It really works well. It's true. That's why I could do talking about everybody's talking about Joe Frazier. Or, hey, let me tell you, when I was a kid, those are just musical notes. That's not the tone of my voice. I'm thinking of musical notes when I do that.
Huh.
It's
That's
a
cool.
very good way to learn voiceover. It really is. I got lucky. Except I got fired, but I get fired a lot. You ever notice that?
You haven't been fired that many times.
How many times, honestly, have you been like really, truly like
God.
fired? And you go
Until
home
I-
and you're like, oh,
Until I went to Capitol Records, I was fired constantly.
Yeah, but how many times?
I would say at least 10.
Really, that many
Wow.
times? Huh.
But you have to remember, a 21-year-old Tommy is not the same Tommy you have today.
Yeah.
If you know what I'm saying. I came out of the north side. It's like, don't mess with me or I'll kill you.
Mhm.
you came in hot.
I came in hot. That's a good way to
Mhm.
put it. Yeah, that's exactly right. And everybody's a tough guy till they meet a tough guy. Still my favorite.
That's true.
Favorite saying
Yep,
ever.
That's true.
So what else? So now I've got Paradise, I got Doc, and I got The Pit.
Yeah, all easy shows to remember, actually.
Wonderful. And where do I find them? I find them all on like Netflix.
The Pit, Max.
Is Max.
Doc is Fox.
Doc is
And
Fox?
Yep.
Doc is Fox. Yep. So just think like 3-letter word title, 3-letter network. And then Max is The Pit and Hulu is Paradise.
Okay.
Okay, Toots. You sound like my mother there.
Mhm.
Okay, Tom, because you're stupid. Think of it this way.
Well, sometimes it helps. It helps for me sometimes just thinking
Yeah,
like
it does.
three word or 3-letter.
Did people like Cobra Kai, the extension of it, the last session, do you know, or the
And
last
it's
episodes?
been mixed, I think. I think people liked how they wrapped it up, but I think like overall the last season I got real mixed reviews. Is
Mhm.
I think kind of the temperature read of the whole thing.
Right.
But overall, if you look at the series, like 6 seasons, it really captured like the love of Karate Kid. I think the
Yeah.
earlier seasons were stronger than the later seasons, but
Absolutely.
it got interrupted by COVID. It got
Mhm.
interrupted by the writers and actors strike. So that doesn't help the situation by any means. But I really love that you still have the essence of Karate Kid still living there through Cobra Kai, and now they're continuing the Karate Kid universe back to the big screen.
Oh, okay. What's interesting about that is Catherine is the one who drove me to watch it. She's the one who wanted to watch it. I couldn't care less. But then when I watched it, I went, oh, I could see, yeah.
Early, it was very good.
It was really
then
good.
So
at
good.
the end, it was okay.
Yeah,
but
it was okay. You're right.
It was really predictable in lots of ways.
Yes.
And then you get the 20-minute, karate sequence. And sometimes I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
they're going on a little bit long. But I think overall, I went to the premiere, last week of the final half of season 6. And the cast really genuinely gets along.
Good.
They were partying together. They were all hanging out on the red carpet together. You can't fake that, because if you have a cast that hates each other, they all individually walk and then they separate the second they get to the theater. They were all just on top of each other, hugging, and you could really tell that it was a celebration of what they did in 6 seasons.
You just gave me a wonderful memory. God, I haven't thought of this in years, but we're at Mayslack's Bar
Okay.
over in Northeast Minneapolis, and some guy was being a pain in the ass. So another guy, because Stanley did not allow arguing or fighting in his bar. You get loud, you get out, right? So these two guys are going to go out and they're going to fight. So we go out there. This is 100 years ago. And one guy goes, like that. And the other guy goes, that's not really a karate thing. I thought it was very funny. Oh, it's like, no, they don't really do that. So
No, not really.
great memories, though. That's a great memory. Oh, man, going to bars. Did you guys ever hang out at bars when you were like 21, 22?
Nope.
I
Yeah,
did.
You
In
did?
college for some, and
Yeah,
then
college, right?
Yeah, I lived in New York City, so of course.
God, you do see some great things at bars as an early 20s, mid 20s person, though.
I don't know. Honestly,
You'd hate it, Andy.
when I go to bars on the rare occasion that I'm at a bar, most of the people there are older now.
Yeah, that's probably true.
I don't know if like hanging out at bars is a thing that young people really do anymore.
Well,
They do if it's a
I'm sure.
lounge. It's a difference. You got to go to like an
That's true.
upscale lounge or
Yeah.
like a wine bar. But like a bar, I'm not a bar person. Like let's go to a sports bar. I'm like,
Like a Cheers kind of situation. Yeah, that's kind of. Although Cheers was upscale-ish, right?
yeah, because it was in downtown Boston, I think.
Right.
But,
Yeah, like
but
a
I feel
wine
like they
bar.
brought in a lot of blue collar characters into
Yes.
the series.
But they also
Other than
had
Frasier.
Frasier.
I loved Frasier.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was a great show. As a matter of
I
fact.
heard Frasier has Kelsey Grammer has played Frasier in like more episodes of like TV shows all combined than any other fictional character or something like that.
Hmm.
Because
It
I mean,
would make sense.
he was in Cheers,
and
and then he was in
Frasier.
Frasier, and then he was in the Frasier reboot.
Right.
I don't know if I got the stat exactly right, but yeah, something about like the Frasier character is like the most enduring fictional character of all time or something like
It's a
that.
number, a lot of seasons. I'm just trying to think because Simpsons wouldn't count because they're fake.
Animated. Yeah, anything animated.
I'm trying to think
Love
anything else that was long running with characters or that did spinoffs. I don't.
While you're thinking,
probably True Close.
let me say this. While you're thinking, Homer Simpson was the best smart ass cartoon character of all time. That's all I
Still
have
is.
to say. He still is. I
Mhm.
just love that character so much because he's such a dope and he thinks he's got everything dialed right in. I love that character. And that was Tracy Ullman first, right?
Yes,
At
it
the
was.
beginning, in
At
the
the
very
beginning.
beginning, when they were like really kind of Cro-Magnon-ish.
Right,
And, yeah.
yes.
Yep.
Yeah, they're
That's where they
very
started.
ugly looking in the beginning.
Yep.
The animation is extremely crude.
Why don't we take a quick break here? I love the fact that the KB2 stays on till the top of the hour now.
Oh, here we go. Here's the stat I learned. Kelsey Grammer has played Frasier Crane in over 500 episodes, which is the most of any character in U.S. sitcom history.
Sitcom.
Wow.
Sitcom,
Oh,
but not
there you-
drama.
Yeah, and I'm sure like
Well,
some of
'cause
these Days of
soap
Our
op-
Lives
soap
people or
operas,
whatever,
yeah, and
they've probably been
Gunsmoke,
on
those kind of-
11,000
Yeah.
episodes.
You can
so-
probably still turn on a couple of them and see people you saw back when you were.
Oh, 100% Deidre Hall on Days of Our Lives. You guys know who that is.
Yeah, I know.
Right.
There was this like,
Marlena.
this old lady who played like a chef or something like that, and she was on there I think for like 50 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Luke and Laura were on forever. And
Jeannie Francis is still on General Hospital.
wow, I didn't know General Hospital still existed.
I didn't either.
It does. Yeah.
We have so many
There's
medical shows now.
4 soaps and a 5th one coming on Monday.
Wow.
Yep.
There you
Wow.
have it. All right, let's go to that break. Come back. Kristen Bird's still with us. I love it.
Roger that.
Why should your business bank with North American Banking Company? Here's Austin Bartz of Bartz Lawn and Landscape and Bartz Snow Sculptures.
I started banking with North American, I think 3.5 years ago. All the people know me by name. I know them by name. It's fun to come into the bank and actually talk to somebody you know. So I made the switch and I'm very happy. It's the best bank I've ever been at.
So why not bank where I bank? With my friends at North American Banking Company. To learn more about North American Banking Company, go to nabankco.com. That's nabankco.com, or do what I do and stop by any one of their 6 Twin Cities locations. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. Does thinking about retirement make you uncomfortable? Sometimes the anxiety for wondering if you saved enough can be overwhelming. But what if I told you that you could ease those tensions in just 48 minutes? My guy, Josh Arnold, Mr. Money Talk, can sit down with you and get you on the right track for your financial future. Josh has navigated it all when it comes to uncertain market and economic conditions, and he'll always provide straight talk. Never sugar-coated advice on how to reach the finish line with your retirement goals. Don't let your financial worries give you an ulcer or keep you from calling Josh right now. His 48-minute no-obligation consultation could be just what you need to feel better about your future. Call Josh today at 952-925-5608. Set up your free 48-minute no-obligation consultation. That's 952-925-5608. Investment services offered by Josh Arnold Investment Consultant, LLC Security Investment Advisor. Past performance is no guarantee of future results. All investments must involve risk. You know that. All comments and opinions of Josh Arnold do not constitute investment advice. I am a paid endorser. That was me playing the guitar at the beginning.
What was that?
Just those notes, though.
I thought you just played the drums.
I did just play the drums. I tried to play the piano, but my hands are too big.
Yeah, you don't really have piano hands.
I don't have piano hands. That's true.
So, Kristen, did you see the second Juror?
I did not.
That was actually pretty good. That's a
Good.
pretty decent movie. Yep.
The Juror, it's a good one.
Yeah, second Juror or Juror number
You
2.
would think
I think
that,
it's
Mr.
Juror
Lawyer.
No, it's not just because of the lawyer thing.
Yeah,
It's
there you
actually
go.
done. It's a pretty interesting movie overall.
Mr.
Yeah,
Lawyer.
yeah. So
I got to bring something up to Kristen. I got a call. I guess it was yesterday or a couple of days ago.
Mhm.
They've invited me to come on the Power Trip Morning Show on KFan tomorrow morning. In the 8 o'clock. It's right at 8 o'clock. We're playing like a game show or something like that.
You're playing the initials game.
The
yeah,
initials
the initials game.
Okay, that's what I'm doing. How long does that last? Is that an hour or something?
No, I think
No,
about a
it's-
half an hour,
yeah.
20 minutes, something like that.
Oh, good,
Yep.
because then I can BS the rest of the time.
Mhm.
So then I invited all three of them to come on this show. So I got to find out, Andy, which day would be best for us to have them on and
So-
best for them.
All three of them: Meat Sauce, Hockey, and who else? Who's the third?
Don't say that to me because now you put me in. Now look at the pressure you put me
Oh,
in.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to put you under pressure. I
Way
just
to
trying to
go.
Way
remember.
to go.
Way to go, Bill. No, but that's going to be a lot of fun. It was very, very nice of them to reach out. And, but again, I've known Meat Sauce since he was 16 years old. And those guys they've always been very, very nice to me. And Swedberg, who runs the joint, has always been a great guy to me. So thank you for that. I'm looking forward to it tomorrow at 8 o'clock on the Power Trip Morning Show on KFan. And then I'm going to have them on next week. I got to figure out what's a good, half-hour segment or something to have them on. That'd be good. So if you could help me with that, Andy, you
Yeah.
can set it up.
We could do that, no problem.
Let's get back now to the genius of Kristen Bird, KB2.
Let's
So
do
what else
it.
is happening, sister?
We've been talking a lot about Prince lately. Purple Rain's coming back to theaters, one night only.
Really?
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah. So March 5th, you will see it. If you have an AMC near you, you can go and buy tickets for it. And they've remastered it with Dolby Vision and Dolby Atmos. So I think you'll be able to hear it the way it should be heard.
right.
Yeah.
Right.
So
Very
that's
good.
sound quality.
Wonder
I
how
think
it'll
that's-
hold up. As far
I
as
haven't
there'll be
seen it in
things-
a while.
people smoking in First Avenue.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool.
right.
That's kind of
Yeah.
interesting to see. When Luke whacks his mom, that'll be kind of different than what you
Cringy.
see today.
A little cringy.
A little cringy. I think the rest of it will hold up pretty good.
I don't remember. He hit his mother.
Yeah, he whacks her at one point. You clean the house, clean the house. He just keeps screaming at her or something like that. You don't clean my house.
Because I can
So-
prove to you that I never hit my mother. You know how I can prove it? Because
Well,
I'm still alive.
Prince didn't hit her. Luke, his dad.
Oh,
Luke
dad
from
did.
the Mod
Dad
Squad.
did. Okay.
Domestic
The
violence.
dad.
Oh, the
Oh.
80s cringy sex scenes. That's probably going to be a little awkward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no question about it. That is a fact. I can prove that I've never hit anyone in my family because I'm still alive.
Mm.
You'd be dead if you hit my mother.
You didn't hit
my
your brothers?
God. Oh God, no! I never hit my brothers.
None of them. Huh?
Nope.
Really?
I'm not a big hit guy.
Well, I
just-
mean, I think if you had hit Terry, it wouldn't have gone super well.
Well, it's not a go well or not. Just brothers.
It's like
type
you
thing.
wrestle. I wrestled with my brother until he got bigger than me, and I was like, "Oop!"
Mm.
I learned my lesson real
Don't do that
quick.
anymore.
put him in a chokehold.
I couldn't put him in chokehold.
You know, I do now. You made me miss wrestling. Damn it! I used to every Saturday night.
I still
6
do it.
o'clock.
Wrestling is still a thing.
Is
Yeah,
it
it's
really?
still
You
on.
Oh,
go to
yeah.
Peacock.
Thursdays
Peacock.
and it's on Mondays, I think. Thursdays. Yep.
Those guys
So-
would come on Saturday night at the St. Paul Auditorium.
They don't really do that so much
Oh,
anymore.
then I
It's
missed
different.
that.
Yeah, it's different than
I
that.
missed that
I haven't
so
thought
much.
of Kristen's brother in forever. I've given no thought. He must be very happy with what's going on in the world.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't talk to him about it. We've learned our lessons since.
Mm.
You remember 2016? I blocked him.
Yes,
You remember
I
the
remember
story?
that.
Yeah.
We
Okay, now you better tell our listeners what you're talking about.
Okay, so in 2016, after the election, when Donald
Oh,
Trump obviously won that election, I had voted differently than my brother. He's a big Trump fan, but he started sending me really awful memes. Um, really inappropriate ones. We'll just go there. And so
Yep.
I blocked him on my iPhone for like 6 months. So he could not contact me at all because they
Oh.
were so offensive. And I had asked him kindly, I was like, just stop. This is not your, I'm the wrong audience for this. But to the point that I just was like, if you're not going to stop, then I'm going to put up a boundary, which was blocking him on my iPhone. And then he went to my mother and complained.
I remember that.
Like we were kids.
Love
And he
it.
was like, she blocked me. And then my mother was like, your brother's really upset that you blocked him. And I was like, are you kidding me? Well, he can't act like an adult. So I did unblock him at the request of my mother. And it lasted a month before he just couldn't help himself and sent me a meme and he got blocked again.
Yep.
God, your own brother. You know what's interesting about that? And I cannot figure this out to this day. I have a sister who hasn't spoken to me in 25 years over an election. And I think this is political. My one vote was apparently opposed you, but my vote didn't get the person elected. I got to be very, very honest. I don't understand getting that upset over politics. I just don't get it.
2000? Which race was that?
2000 would have been Bush.
Was
Been
Bush?
George
Bush
Bush and Gore.
Gore.
And hanging chads.
Hanging chads, that's right.
Hanging chads seems so quaint in today's
I know.
political landscape. I'm like, I would take a hanging chad right now.
But do you think people will ever understand it's not that big a deal? Would you calm down? They're all ripping us off for money. I mean, it's about money. It's not about Democrat, Republican, or whatever. They all rip us off. So calm down, right? Oh
Yeah.
God, you're such a Bostonite. You and Boston and their politics.
Yeah, well,
No,
Both.
I feel like this particular moment in time is a little bit different of what we're going through. You're seeing just everything ripped apart, and we don't know how this is going to shake out. Let's put it that way.
But Biden's not president anymore.
It has nothing to do with Biden.
yeah.
I did that on purpose.
I was like, it has nothing to do with Biden. It has to do with the manner of we're not looking at the landscape of what checks and balances is, and that is being
Did
ripped
we
apart.
ever?
And
I'm sure we have.
No, we have not.
Oh yeah.
I am a
Checks and balances.
person. I'm here in person to tell you that if they want to use democracy against you, they will do it. Both sides, because they did it to me.
Well, but
They ruined my voiceover career over politics.
yeah, but that's not that's not the checks and balance issue.
I'm talking
Oh, it's
about
not.
executive.
That was
yeah.
more. That's more of what a party did, as far as in Minnesota goes.
Your party.
Well, that's it was part of the party, sure.
I got over it.
Yeah,
But I just never understood. I voted for Democrats. I voted for Republicans. I actually went on the show yesterday and started with the fact that I've reached an age where I think people after they turn 73 should not be able to vote any longer.
Specifically 73.
that would knock out the Supreme Court and half the Senate.
Yeah,
That's what I'm saying. Go away.
The president couldn't be involved.
No.
either.
We'd be like, see you later.
I got no president. Neither president could have been
That
involved.
would have been quite the checks and balances. Sorry, you're all too old.
The average senator is 65.
65.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
So most people don't even work at 65 anymore.
I mean, yeah,
retire.
they're
Oh, they
basically
do.
right now. Well,
People
now-
can't afford to
now.
retire right now.
Yeah.
They're working.
and if more things happen, there might be even more of them. So,
But you guys can't really. That all happened in 1 month. You really think that
what happened in 1 month?
the economy collapsing?
Everything
and
based
based
around-
around-
Nobody said anything about
I
the
will
economy.
I will say
collapsing.
this one thing.
You're in
Firing a bunch or laying off or whatever they're doing federally and dumping thousands of people into the unemployment pool
Mhm.
does not help the economy, because on the corporate side, in
understand
the
that.
private sector, they're not hiring either. Where are these people going to work? And that is my question.
They could work for Chuck Schumer. Never had a job in his life, and he's worth $81 million. Don't just blow that off.
No, that has nothing to do with it. I'm
Yes, it
talking about
does.
the app. No, it's Tom. I'm going to argue with you on this.
If they
Uh-oh.
would put the money in the system to help the people instead of themselves, and they all do it, Democrats and Republicans.
Right. But if you're laying 200,000 people off, or whatever the number is, 100,000, 50,000, whatever that number is, where are they going to work? I
Well,
want to
just
know.
keep the money in the country instead of giving it away to every other country in the world by the billions.
That would help.
Yeah, seriously.
That would help, but you
I love
can't
you,
just
Chris.
manufacture
That's what I
a
said.
factory overnight. Again,
Remember I said, I love you, Kristen.
I love you too, but I'm just telling you, you're thinking of like the big picture. I get
I
that.
am,
Like
yes,
keeping manufacturing here, great. Like doing an audit, great. But the manner that they're doing it in without a checks and balance and just like ripping things apart is
But they
also
all do it.
Yeah, that's been the thing for years.
We've had
is-
checks and balances that have worked. There's a possibility they're going to ignore what the court says. Congress is just going along with everything. So
Yeah.
I no, this is different. What's going on right now with checks and balances in a way that's our country hasn't seen.
unprecedented.
It's I mean, it goes back to Marbury versus Madison, that what's going on right now, but we'll see.
Look,
I don't know.
I didn't vote for either person, so you
Mhm.
can't blame me.
You
I'm
didn't
not
vote.
blaming you. No
What?
blame. You know,
What
I'm
did you
just
say,
saying.
KB?
You didn't vote, so that's that.
Well, I didn't get my ballot. And if somebody took my ballot, who do you think that would have been?
Who knows?
Why didn't you register in Florida?
Probably Catherine. I did register in Florida.
Then you should call up.
I know. I look.
DeSantis.
I've decided that
DeSantis.
I've gotten to the age I shouldn't even have a voice in it. I'm not going to build the society. That's up to younger people. You guys get off your ass and build the society. Make it for everyone.
Yeah, Kristen, hurry up.
Yeah, Kristen, you're good. You're but no, I have literally gotten to the point. I really don't think, and maybe it's 75. Once you turn 75, you should not be able to vote anymore. You can't vote till you're 18, and you can't vote after 75, right? Because you got nothing to lose or win.
No, you probably do have something to lose. I mean,
Like what?
you have an interest in the economy, you have an interest in stocks, you have
Social
an interest-
Security.
So,
People
You're
rely
interested in
upon Social
crime.
Security.
so
you
the
know?
14-year-olds though, they work. They got jobs as dishwashers
Well,
at
that's-
16 years old.
Yeah, it's a
So why
choice you
can't
make.
they vote?
Well, because there's an arbitrary decision that's been made. The 18th when we let people
What's
vote.
the thing? Yeah, the line has always got to exist, and no matter where
Yep.
you put it, it's going to be arbitrary. So it
Mhm.
just
It is.
you got to live with that. Because I mean, obviously, you're not going to want 1-year-olds voting. 2-year-old would be ridiculous. 3-year-old would be ridiculous. So at what point does it stop being ridiculous? It's arbitrary.
Yeah.
Okay, let me remind you of one other thing. I turned on politicians when I was 8 years old because I found out John F. Kennedy's father was involved in the mafia. So I haven't liked politicians since I was 8 years old.
I thought you liked the mafia.
Well, I do, but I don't like the politicians in the mafia.
Ah, I see.
Yeah, it got filled. I was because he was the first Roman Catholic president, and that was a big deal to me because I'm Roman. I grew up
Mhm.
Roman Catholic. It was huge, and then of course all of the Lutherans in the neighborhood had to point out that the guy was tied into the mob, and I'm like, oh Christ, we finally get a Catholic president, and the guy's tied into the mob. Wonderful.
What a coincidence.
What a coincidence that was. So look, I don't think you're wrong, and I don't think the other side's wrong either. I don't think anybody's wrong. I just think it's all bad. I mean, when's the last time a president did something to actually help the people instead of line their own pockets?
I think a number of them have in a number of different ways. So
Let me find out. I'll have to start reading.
yeah, well,
I'll have to read up on it.
You got a lot of reading ahead of you then.
I do. Anyway, let's get back to some
250
entertainment.
years.
Way to go. Way to ruin everything, Kristen.
Well, I don't want to discuss politics.
you're talking about your brother. It's your brother's
I was
fault.
like, I guess my
Let's-
brother.
let's-
It's
let's
blame
block-
Eric.
Brought it up.
Block him again.
No, he's just so everyone knows he is unblocked. We don't discuss politics because that is my mother. Like anytime we're together, she's like, "The two of you just get along, please." Like you just
Yeah.
the funny thing about us is that you'd never know we came from the same parents. We're so different.
But shouldn't
it.
I have a sore spot in my heart? The fact that my sister hasn't even talked to me in
Well,
25
sure,
years.
absolutely.
Be over politics.
The phone goes both ways, though. Give her a
Oh,
call.
I've reached out. I took her kids to, the World Series, or son to the World Series. All that.
Was it
I just don't
91?
get- Well, tough kid.
And I haven't talked to them since.
Give her-
Well, what am I
give
going
her
to take?
around.
Hey, Michael, come on over. I know you're 55 now, but Uncle Tommy should take you to a baseball
Well,
game.
Give it another run.
You know,
Yeah, well, hasn't she not talked to basically anyone since she disappeared? That's the real problem.
no, she didn't talk to anybody
Yeah.
anymore.
Well, and also sometimes people, whatever their issue is with the family, whatever, sometimes they just, for them, it's healthy boundaries for them to function, whatever that issue is.
Fight is look.
She's
I
a
will say-
neurotic woman, that's for sure.
Yeah, she is neurotic. But I will tell you what, she busted her ass to help the family when my father was hauled away.
Mhm.
I mean, she did back then. And I just got a message from Bernie Lauer, the sales manager of Hubbard. Tom, mention the golf show, please. Good morning. Please don't forget Bilski either. The official name is the
Bilski had that in the first part. What's he?
Yeah, I know.
What's he doing?
North American
Mike
Banking
Bilski,
Company.
North American Banking.
I don't know. Did you read my thing? Did you do the live read of it today?
Live read.
No, I don't think so.
I think that's probably what it is.
Oh, is that what it is? Okay, let me do it.
Oh,
8
the
times in a row
sponsorship
now.
for. Oh, okay.
My
Kristen-
segment that has
Sorry, I said
spilled
we
everywhere.
see what's fun. Kristen Bird Entertainment News is brought to you by North American Banking Company. You know, one thing I do love about Bernie, though, he listens to every show. I love that about him. He's dedicated to his
You'll
job.
know.
Kristen Bird Entertainment News brought to you by North American Banking Company. Go to nabanco.com to learn more. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. Lender housing equal CDIF. REMM.
What?
I'm reading it backwards.
Yeah.
Why?
Just so they get covered both ways.
Oh,
Just to be a prick, actually.
Reading it backwards.
I'm reading it backwards just to be a dink. Anyway,
And he sponsors Kristen, correct?
he does.
Correct, he
That's what I
does.
said
We
at the very time.
that.
Let me read it again just to make sure we got it right. Kristen Bird Entertainment News is brought to you by North American Banking Company. Go to nabanco.com to learn more. And when he answers the phone, go, Bilski.
Bilski.
Member FDIC, equal housing lender. There. And I'll do it again when she leaves.
I like the
I have to
implication-
leave. It's
Oh,
9:15.
yeah.
God, you went over a half hour again? Oh,
Yeah,
40.
leave.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
to leave.
Okay, we'll talk. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow, guys.
Gotta
Bye.
get your
Good to see you,
brother on.
Mike.
I'm going to try to get your brother on tomorrow, okay?
You should. He's very entertaining and he's very funny.
Okay, I'll
So
track him down.
I'll ask him if he ever wants to come on. You guys
You
would laugh
should.
about him.
Please do that.
Yeah.
That'd
Okay.
be great. Thanks, Kristen.
Bye.
All right.
Kristen Bird Entertainment News brought to you by North American Banking Company. Go to nabanco.com to learn more. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. We'll be right back. More of the show right after this.
For Bradshaw and Bryant, Michael Bryant. Michael, what's up?
Dealing with another case where a person gave a statement to the adjuster because they thought the person was really friendly.
Is that a good idea?
Well, the problem is they know the law when they call you up. And while you're trying to be fair and you're trying to get help, the reality is there are questions you get asked that the way you answer them make a big difference. And people put themselves in trouble. And when they aren't in trouble, they didn't do anything wrong, but suddenly the adjuster's got a statement that can blow up their case completely.
What has caused people to be so untrustworthy, I guess is the best way I could put it? They take advantage.
Well, insurance companies have hired adjusters whose job it is to deal with unrepresented people. So there's supposed to kind of lure them in, call them every day, see how they're doing. And people are like, oh, I'm doing pretty good. Where the reality is they've kind of adjusted to their problem that they've got going on. So it's not that they're completely better, but the way they say it gets to be a problem. And that's why having somebody who can explain your rights, represent you, make sure that you understand the law before you give a statement can make a big difference in your case.
Michael Bryant, Bradshaw and Bryant.
Does thinking about retirement make you uncomfortable? Sometimes the anxiety for wondering if you've saved enough can be overwhelming. But what if I told you that you could ease those tensions in just 48 minutes? My guy, Josh Arnold, Mr. Money Talk, can sit down with you and get you on the right track for your financial future. Josh has navigated it all when it comes to uncertain market and economic conditions, and he'll always provide straight talk. Never sugar-coated advice on how to reach the finish line with your retirement goals. Don't let your financial worries give you an ulcer or keep you from calling Josh right now. His 48-minute no-obligation consultation could be just what you need to feel better about your future. Call Josh today at 952-925-5608. Set up your free 48-minute no-obligation consultation. That's 952-925-5608. Investment services offered by Josh Arnold Investment Consultant, LLC Security Investment Advisor. Past performance is no guarantee of future results. All investments must involve risk. You know that. All comments and opinions of Josh Arnold do not constitute investment advice. I am a paid endorser. We are back, ladies and gentlemen. You know, one thing I love about Kristen Bird so much is I can always get her whipped up by just arguing politics with her. I love Kristen Bird. I really do. She's one of the nicest people I've ever. I've never met her. I've never met her in person.
In person?
No, she has never been here.
Never met her.
We've been talking to her for almost 13 years and
Wow.
we've never actually met.
Never
How did
actually-
she start?
She was just on our show. She was on like episode 8 or something.
As
Yeah.
just an interview?
Yeah,
Yep.
she was just
Okay.
a person.
I remember she blocked me for like a week or two.
She did.
And I think it was just by accident on Twitter.
Oh,
And then I was on the show. I'm like, why'd you block me? She's like, I didn't block you. And then she unblocked me. It's like somehow I got blocked.
Mm.
So,
but I hope
you know.
new listeners, because there are probably some new listeners on here because they heard that I'm going to be on the Power Trip morning show tomorrow. So they're probably listening. You have to understand something. I don't have a political position. I'm not a Democrat or a Republican. I didn't vote in the last presidential election, all that stuff. I only do that to poke the bear. I couldn't give a rat's ass. Presidents are all nuts to me. Every president we've ever had has been a nut job as far as I'm concerned. So don't think I'm some far right or far left guy, because I only do it to annoy her. I love annoying her because I think so much of her. I love that woman. So that's kind of like when I annoy your mother, Andy.
Yeah.
Same story.
Works pretty well.
Yeah, that's very easy to do for me and her. I will put it that way. But in any case, she's a piece of work. There's no doubt about it. She's as good as it gets.
she does a
Don't you
good
think?
job. There's no doubt about that.
So what's going on in the legal world?
Let's see what's going on for trials right now. There really isn't anything huge right now on trials. I mean, there's a lot of lawsuits over people getting fired or things that have been done as far as payments go, with changes that have been happening with the new administration. But beyond that, there was a big trial up north that was up on the range for a death case. That was kind of interesting because the guy who got convicted twice, he actually had his first conviction overturned and had to do it a second time, gave a statement that pretty much said, I might have done it. And then one of the friends that was there said he might have done it, might have gotten up in the middle of the night. And it's like, it was a great example of why you don't give statements. You just don't, you don't say things just off the cuff to cops because it gets recorded and those are problems.
I think that's a magnificent idea. Just don't do it.
Great reminder there.
About it.
Beyond that, I don't know where the Feed the Family trial is going on in federal court. I was gone. I was at a convention, so I don't know if that one got wrapped up yet or not.
So
Kingpin,
is that like $200 million or something?
Yeah, I think it's somewhere around there, or it's a huge amount.
Why did they ever give them that much money?
Well, because they thought they were doing what they're supposed to be doing. And,
isn't it your job as a politician to make sure they're doing it, not just think they are?
When you look at the trial, they did a pretty good job initially of covering their bases on how they were paying the money out and what they're doing. It just, there's a lot of kickbacks and there was other crazy stuff that was done there.
Politicians got kickbacks?
No, it wasn't politicians. It was the Feed the Family. The people that were doing it were getting kickbacks, and they had like weird people on boards that didn't even know they were on the boards, and these little places where they'd show up and give them money and then get money back. And yeah, it was quite the crazy deal.
So I do have a question for you. Why is it so easy for them to do that?
Well, at that point, it was an issue. It was a combination of COVID money and the idea that there was a bunch of people that would be helped by it. So I think it was a bad time, and how it started, I don't know.
What's the percentage of kickback? Is it 50% of the money gets kicked back?
To where?
To politicians and the guys who run the show.
I don't think they found any kickbacks to the politicians.
Well, that's not what I heard.
In that, I don't.
Like I said, I'm not a Republican or a Democrat.
Right.
I didn't give a rat's ass about either party, and I don't hate either party.
Yeah, this trial has been based not upon kickbacks to politicians. It's been based upon kickbacks are being done to people that were the organization to get the money, then they would pay it out to these other groups that then would pay money back. And there was a kickback there is what they're showing as far as it goes. And they think they've got, I think the main person who was in charge,
right? They
have her on there, but I just don't know if the trial's ended yet because I was gone for a couple of days.
Isn't it politicians' job who decide to give them the money? Isn't it their job to appoint someone to make sure this doesn't happen?
Well, that's the hope. I mean, it was a different structure because of COVID and a couple other things were going on there, and it was a newer program. But yeah, and in the end, that's how they caught him was the oversight is what caught him. It wasn't.
Yeah.
It didn't.
Well, good.
They definitely didn't turn themselves in.
No, they didn't.
No. So, and there was a lot of money there that was moved around.
But I just don't like the fact that people worked. Were born in America, worked in America, busted their ass. They have no money. And all of a sudden we just give away money to everybody else. And we don't even help out the people who were here in the first place. I have nothing against helping out, newcomers. That's not what I'm saying. But we do overlook a lot of people who were born and raised here and lived here, and they get nothing. That bothers me.
Yeah. Well, I agree. I mean, there's a number of people that could be helped that aren't helped.
Yep.
There's a number of reasons or a number of issues that come with that. There's programs that have been put together that affected some of that. We've talked before about the changes they made in welfare, where they ended up kicking out the live-in boyfriends because of the
Right.
and whether or not that
Yep.
wrecked the family unit or not was an issue. And yeah, there's a weird kind of balancing act. There is how much money is too much and how much money isn't enough, and trying to figure out what works and what doesn't, what solves some of the problems. I mean,
You're right.
there's some part of it is just try to make sure that the poor people don't come and kill all the rich people. That's why you take care of them. There's
not
a
a
weird
bad idea.
social engineering element to it. And alternatively, it's like, when you do this, what do you create for incentive as far as going to work and doing other things, and what qualifies, what doesn't? And
Right.
then there's a lot of different issues that run through that.
Well, the thing for me, my personal involvement in all this, and I'm not saying she did anything wrong or whatever. My mother was very poor her whole life until I started, in the radio business and started doing well and all the rest of it. And then she had a great life from then on. But at one point, and I won't say how much, but I gave her a lot of money and said, just put this in the bank. You know that for the rest of your life, you don't have to worry about money. You know what she did? Gave it all away.
Yeah.
So that's why I keep asking questions like this giveaway stuff. Why she did that, I don't know. But she wanted to help other people, I guess. But I gave it to her to make sure, and she was anyway till she died. She had a very nice life and all the rest of it. But when I found out she gave all that money away to other people she thought that needed it, she is a wonderful person for doing it, but that's not really why I gave it to you.
Yeah.
It's fine. It's her money. Once I gave it to her, it was her money. So you do what you want with it. But there is that whole element of it where there are some people that just get really, even if they have money, they get very uncomfortable with it.
Yeah. They just aren't used to living any way like that. And it gets them nervous. And that adds extra anxiety. It's an odd thing. So you guys weren't on any government programs at all at any point. Yeah.
So no, they didn't have government programs.
Well, they had some stuff, but not much.
Not much. No.
Chat wants your opinion on something, Mr. Bryant. The new Supreme Court ruling about cars being a public space on a public road. Have you heard about that?
Cars being a public space on a public road.
So someone got pulled over for having a BB gun that they weren't supposed to have in their car. The argument was that a car is a private space, therefore they didn't have a gun in a private or a public space.
Right.
And the Supreme Court has recently said, actually, if you're on a public road, then your car is a public space.
Yeah. Usually you get issues there about whether or not they can search or not, just by what they can see. And if it's something that's opened or accessible by the driver, then the police can go in and search on it, or they can impound it and get a warrant and search a car overall. As far as the issue goes, is it closed up? I mean, there's very significant gun laws about, the way you transport guns. That's not, you have to do it in a case. And, even with some of the changes they've made, that's usually pretty much the way it's done. And I don't know, safe gun owners I know say that's really how you should do it. So I would not be, I don't think that's that crazy of a ruling. And that seems to make sense, but specifically, I don't know anything about that particular case. So
that was a new ruling, I think, as of like today.
Oh, well, I missed it on the drive from St. Cloud down. I didn't get a chance. I will look into it and further come up with more information next week.
I just think it's fascinating that, how could your car, a vehicle you purchased, be a public space?
Well, I'd have to read more to see what they're saying.
Sense.
I mean, I don't think
public space means public access.
Right. I don't think
it's still property.
Yeah, I don't think people can come over and have a party in your car
or your house. I mean, your house is not public space. Why would your car be?
Yeah. It's I'd have to see more about it, but there are certain things about that really that don't seem surprising to me. Also, that with what she's written, Barrett's not going to be as as forgiving on the Second Amendment as people think she was on other things like pro-life and on other issues she's been involved in. She's written a lot of things that suggest she reads it pretty literally as far as the Second Amendment goes. And that wouldn't shock me on her being on that side on a vote.
Well, it's a good thing that Officer Dave is going to give me a ride to the airport on Saturday, because if I called an Uber, I got in, I would say, this is public space. I'm not paying you. Right? Why do I have to pay you? It's public space.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, well, I don't
There's
think
an argument.
I don't think so.
that's
I don't think
quite
that
enough.
gets you.
Why
I
not?
don't think that gets you anywhere.
Why
So
not?
good luck.
Come
Good
on.
luck.
You do what you do.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just, the lawmakers, all this stuff. I've always had a very hard time with it. There's no question about it. It just.
Our law system is definitely one of those things that could use a good 100-year-long comb through, because there's just so much on the books that people have just kind of forgotten about. Like 75-year-old laws that aren't enforced anymore, but people bring them up every so often as an argument. They're like, oh yeah, but what about this? What about this maritime law from the Civil War? It's like, these things should just be removed at this point, I think.
Depends on it. But if it's not used for a long time or it doesn't have any effect, then, probably wouldn't change much as far as doing
It would make it
goes.
easier to just read through the code, though.
Mhm. If you want to spend time sitting there reading through the code.
Well,
I don't even
right?
do that.
I think it'd be a little lengthy. These
Although every
codes.
once in a while you can go into stuff like, the good faith law in Minnesota, or you can go into the, the requirements for insurance companies. And we do find things sometimes. It's like, oh, wow, I even forgot about that.
Yeah, exactly.
So you do see stuff that's useful sometimes.
I have to ask you a question. And this is not political. For new listeners, I don't have a dog in this fight. I'm not on either side. I just stand in the middle and watch it all go on. I just heard the Pritzkers are now the second wealthiest family in the world after Elon Musk. Is that true?
Maybe. Yeah.
How did they make their money?
Pritzker family. Oh, these
In
Hyatt
Illinois.
people.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Hyatt people, right? Exactly.
Yeah, that's
They're
basically
worth
how.
hundreds of billions of dollars, I guess.
Yeah, there's certain groups that made lots of money out there. There's no doubt about it.
Let's see. In 1999, looks like Jay Pritzker died, and the family business was split into 11 pieces, each worth $1.4 billion.
Wow.
So they're up to now about.
So at this point,
Elon Musk is worth $450 billion.
Yeah.
So that's a big
he's
jump.
made a lot of money over the last. He's made a lot of money over the last couple months.
Here we go.
Has. Gee, I wonder why that was.
Let's see. There was let's see. The most wealthy Pritzker is Thomas. He's got 6.7 billion.
That's pretty good.
Karen's got 6.1. Jean's got 5.1. So yeah, there's many Pritzkers with many billions of dollars.
Do you think there's a Pritzker leaderboard where they said
There is. I'm
there is.
reading it
There
right
is.
now.
Yes, absolutely.
No, I just mean by them.
They're
They're like,
oh, I
"Hey,
think so.
bring everybody up for Thanksgiving. Hey, go buy the leaderboard while you're,
Well, I mean, Anthony and Penny are both worth 3.7, so they got to keep that board up. So once one gets past the other, you gotta. It's like the Monsters Inc. scare board or whatever.
What's the daughter that used to be a guy's
Monsters,
name? What's her name?
Well, I don't.
One of their kids is a woman now. He used to be a man. What is it? Jeanette Pritzker or something like that?
I don't know.
Jennifer.
Jennifer. Pritzker. There you go. Yeah.
Yep.
So how much is she worth?
2.2 billion.
Wow.
That's not bad, man.
Nope.
Not the. I mean, the
God.
poorest of the Pritzkers on this list is Liesel.
Liesel.
Interesting name.
Liesel and his dog.
It's spelled Diesel, but with an L. So I don't know. But
you sure it's not Leslie? They kind of jumbled it.
No, it's Liesel.
Liesel. Okay.
But she's the poorest one, and she's worth 1.5 billion.
Oh God, how did she get by?
So when the guy was doing his will, he's like, let's give Liesel a little detail, the interest.
Well, she's the youngest too. I think she's my age.
Oh, she is. Yeah. What? She's 38.
Yeah. Well, she's
Jennifer.
She's just, but she's about to turn 41, so she's a little.
Oh,
but
What if you just decide to just go to work on it, like $1 billion? How long it would take you to spend it? Like if you just decided, I'm going to eat everywhere, I'm going to go everywhere, I'm going to do all this stuff. I wonder how long it would last.
I think $1 billion. If you're talking about just like frivolous spending,
Right.
I don't think you could burn through it in a lifetime.
Really?
I mean, if you think about it, $1 billion. I mean, even if you went out to eat and you spent $1,000 on dinner, you'd have to do that 1 million times
Yeah.
to spend all of that
You'd
money.
be doing the thing. What was the boxer used to, Merriweather? He used
Oh,
to buy
yeah.
a car and leave it.
Yeah,
He's like,
exactly. I
leave
mean,
it and get on the
Leave
plane.
it, yeah.
Well, I mean, if you think about it, you're worth $1 billion. You
Mhm.
know, you buy a car and just leave it. What's a car worth these days? Like $40,000.
Probably minimum.
You have to buy 25,000 cars before you spent all your money doing
Although
that.
you could be sitting there one day and go, I'm just going to buy the Wolves. Just,
Well, but yeah,
you know,
that's-
yeah.
Yeah, if you were to like, purchase a country or like a sports team or something like that, you could burn through it quick. But if you're
Yeah.
talking about jewelry and cars and money or food, I don't think you could spend it all.
Yeah.
It's $1 billion is a lot of money.
Yeah, that would be a job, a
Yeah,
full-time
sure
job.
would.
Let's talk to
My
your
j-
mother about that. She's pretty good at
My
it.
job is spending all my money.
Catherine's definitely not on the show today.
No, she's not even in the
And
state.
we know she's not listening. So.
She's not even in the state, so I'm a tough guy.
Yeah.
But I know you got to go here. But I just again I actually love it when people start talking about politics because I will always take the opposite side because I don't have a dog in the fight, right? So for new listeners, that stuff is not really serious with me.
If
It's
I
just
had
me
more
poking
time,
the
I'd
bear.
try it out. I would try that theory out and bet it wouldn't work
Why?
because I'd just go on a large Trump's the greatest guy in the world campaign and see how you respond.
But I didn't vote for him.
I got to go. So
You do have to go. I didn't vote for anybody, so you can't blame anything on me. You did too. You're a liar. Okay, well, I will see you tonight. Yep, we'll see you at 5:30. I'll go to break here, Andy. My Pillow's excited to announce that they are having the first ever mega sale on overstock clearance and brand new products. For example, save over 50% on this season's flannel sheets. Queen size only $59.98, kings only $69.98. They sell out fast every year, so order now. Save 30% on their brand new My Crosses. They're designed in the likeness of the one Mike has worn every day for over 20 years. They come in men's and women's sizes. You know, bigger fingers on men, and they're made right here in the USA. Get the 2025 6-piece My Towel sets for only $29.98. The initial quantities are extremely low, so get them now before they go. And the best-selling standard My Pillow, just $14.98. To take advantage of the first ever mega sale, go to mypillow.com. Use promo code Tom or call 800-516-5146. But wait, remember that $75 free shipping rule? Well, that ship is sale because right now every order ships absolutely free. Tomorrow is the day, ladies and gentlemen. The 2025 North American Banking Company Minnesota Golf Show is tomorrow. What's this weekend? Just starts tomorrow. It's this weekend at the Minneapolis Convention Center, Friday through Sunday. Demo the latest clubs from all the top manufacturers. Save big on brand name golf apparel and sunglasses. Receive free 10-minute lessons from local PGA professionals. Watch game improvement clinics from the performance stage with top instructors and local pros, and so much more. Each ticket purchase also includes 10 free greens fee passes, a value of $350. Great live podcasts all weekend, too. See me as I join Chris Reavers. Looking forward to that. Chris Reavers on the weekly Scramble this Friday. That's tomorrow at 2 p.m. on the Tri-State Bobcat podcast stage. Tickets and more information at mngolfshow.com. So I'm having quite a day tomorrow. I'm going to start my day tomorrow. I'm going to be on the K-Fan morning show doing a game show. What's it called again? The name of the game show?
The Initials game.
The Initials game. There you go.
We actually listened to an Initials game on the way home yesterday to see what you'd be doing.
So what do you do?
What they do is like the one that we heard was they'll say like, okay, if you have to guess what I'm thinking of. It's the initials are PT.
Oh, so it's not like a person's.
We thought it was going to be, but none of the ones we heard were people. So the PT one was like, okay, so they'll say, okay, it's PT.
I go part-time.
Your first hint is used to add flavor.
Used to add flavor.
And then if you don't get it, because if you guess it wrong, you're out.
Oh,
so you could, if you just don't guess, they'll give you the next hint, which would be, I think the next hint was often exposed to high heat.
PT, often exposed to high heat.
And I used to add flavor.
And used to add flavor.
Mm-hmm. And then someone got it at that point, so I don't know what the rest of the
I have no idea what that would even be.
Pizza toppings.
Pizza toppings?
Yep.
Boy, you got to break it down that much, huh?
Yeah, it's actually pretty difficult.
Because PT to me is always going to be part-time.
Not in this case.
No, not in this. Part-time was a big deal. Pete, hey, how much PT did you get? And PT time did you get? That was a big deal when I was a kid. That whole deal. But yeah, so tomorrow, I get a big day tomorrow, and I'm looking forward to it, as a matter of fact. I talked to Mom. I might not be leaving on Saturday, Andy.
No?
I got a lot of stuff that I got to work on. I'm going to try to leave Saturday to go see your mom, but I might not be able to do that. We'll see how it goes, because, again, tomorrow I will get up. I'll go over and do the 8 o'clock hour with all my friends over at KFan on the morning show. I love the name of that morning show, by the way.
Power Hour or whatever. What's it called?
No, it's not the Power Hour. Try again.
It's something like that.
Power Trip.
Power Trip. There
Get
you
it?
go.
They're on a power trip.
I don't actually.
Well, a power trip used to be a thing when
I know
somebody was acting like a pain in the ass.
I know what a power trip is, but
Yeah, well, that's what.
is the host named Trip or something?
Nope, it's meat sauce. And Corey.
Interesting.
No, it's a bunch of good guys. So I'm looking forward to that. But again, I'd like to remind people we have some new listeners. I found so far when I woke up this morning, 200,000 references to me being on KFan tomorrow morning. That was very nice of you. The fact that you actually give a rat's ass and actually do care. But one thing I have to mention to people who have never heard the show before, I don't have an actual political position because I'm not a Republican and I'm not a Democrat. So when people go off the deep end on their side, I always go after the other side just to piss them off. I couldn't care less who you elected president. You elect him president, good for you. I'm happy for
Nothing will ever be as bad as people think it will be. I don't think.
I mean, I do. You think
Nothing ever happens.
Well,
as
first
it
of
were.
all, do you think either Donald Trump or Joe? No, I've met Donald Trump. Actually, I had lunch with him one time. But I'll tell you flat out, he's not my kind of guy. I don't know what kind of president he is. I don't dislike him, but I don't think I could be a buddy of his.
I don't think people like that really have a lot of buddies in general.
They probably don't. And the same with Joe Biden. He's just not my kind of guy. So you got two presidents, different parties. To me, they look exactly the same because they're in it for the money.
Yeah.
That was my take on it.
And it's like, what do you need money for? How old is Trump?
78.
78. Is he 78 already?
I think he's 78.
He is 78. He's about to turn 79 in June.
There you go. 79 in
He's turning
June.
79 years old. What do you need with the power and the money? I don't get it.
That's
Just
what it is. It's
watch
power and
Wheel
money.
of Fortune, like everyone else your age.
Exactly. Go to the home and watch Wheel of Fortune. But yeah, so if this is the first time you've ever heard this show, I do not mean to sound like I'm attacking people, but I do like to poke the bear when they bring up politics, because I still do not to this day understand how anyone can buy into any party 100%.
Yep.
Because they both have their weaknesses. And I just,
unless it's the Whig party.
Yes, the Whigs. That's
I am
100%
behind the Whigs.
You'll go to battle for them. You will,
even though all I know about them is their name is funny.
Yeah. So again, this is the first time you've ever heard the show. It's not a real political show. I talked in an interview about a week ago about the fact that when I took the job at KQRS, it was actually David Hamilton's job to take the morning show more conservative. Not that he was a Republican, or I was a Democrat at the time, but he goes, I want you to take a Republican position. You have to understand, most morning shows that are really successful, that's not really them. Like Howard Stern got very, very successful. That's not really how Howard Stern acts.
Extremely neurotic man in real life.
Yes, he is.
Very worried about everything. Yeah,
he is.
He's like Mr. Cool guy on the air, but that is not who he is in real life.
No, it's an act, and I don't think he even knows it's an act. I know it's an act when I talk about politics because I can give a rat's ass for either side, to tell you the truth. I hope we all survive and get through and America prospers. I hope for that. But there's just too much money involved for me to be concerned. For me to care, there's too much money involved on both sides. Does that make sense?
There's a lot of money involved.
Lots of money involved.
Well, if you are a KFan listener listening to this show for the first time and you plan on being here tomorrow to give your thoughts on how Tom was, why not go to chatsy.com/Tom Bernard Show? And I will be monitoring the chat the whole time. So if you come in there, you can talk directly to me.
There you go. And by the way, thank you again. 200,000 people responded to that news yesterday. And that's just the stuff that I've seen. So who the hell knows how many people it was, but you were very, very kind to me. You've always been very kind to me because I think most of you understand, 90% of this is me, but 10% of it is all bullshit. I go with the whim and I make stuff up as I go along. And some people believe that, that it's all, you can't do a show like this and be 100% just who you are. You can't possibly do a show that way.
Well, no, that's the thing is I don't think most people are interesting enough to just talk and be,
Right.
Something you want to listen to.
That's exactly it.
We have a text.
Oh,
There's a pancake mix recall.
A pancake mix recall?
They're recalling pancake mix from Quaker Oats, Pearl Milling Company.
What happened?
I'm guessing listeria. It's always listeria. Let's see. Undisclosed milk allergen. So if you're allergic to milk and you have some Pearl Milling Company pancakes, then throw them away.
That is not good to know.
And if you're not in the 1 in a million people in that situation, go ahead and eat them.
I get that.
I imagine if you know that you're allergic, like deadly allergic to milk, you're probably going to pay pretty close attention to labels.
I would imagine.
So,
okay, folks on the chat would like to know if I have any knowledge of how Tony Lee is doing. I talked to Tony the day after they fired him from the KQ Morning Show.
Oh, you did? I didn't know.
Yeah, I did. I talked to Tony. I've known Tony Lee for 25 years, something like that. I'll have to check up on it because I know he was pretty devastated that he got the hook from KQ, but I mean, that's how the business is. I got fired. See, everybody, and again, the fact that they told everybody I retired really pisses me off because that's a flat out lie. I never did retire. They just lied. So you wouldn't bother to look for my next place that I'll be. So I don't know. It's unfortunate, but Tony Lee, the last time I'm kind of glad that you asked me that question because I should reach out to him again and see how he's doing because he sounded pretty down when I talked to him.
Well, yeah, I can imagine. Oh, how old is he?
Tony's got to be around 60, maybe 60.
Oh, no retiring yet, huh?
Somewhere there. Yeah. Well, and maybe he is old enough to retire. I don't know. But Tony back in the day made me laugh like there's no tomorrow.
He was on the show for
long time,
like the first 2 years or something like that.
There's no.
It was a while. You're going to be on KFan 8 to 9, right?
8 to 9 tomorrow. Yeah.
8 to 9. There you go.
And then I'm going to be on with Chris Reavers, who's on with Joe Souchere on the Power Trip.
Well, that is KFan.
I mean, not Power Trip, Jesus, Tom. Garage Logic.
Oh, when are you gonna be on Garage Logic?
2:00 tomorrow afternoon. Well, no, I'm not gonna be on Garage Logic. I'm gonna be on with Chris Reavers, who's on.
Oh, right, yeah.
So I got a big day. I'll be on this show. First of all, I'll start my day being on a KFan, and then I'll come over here and do this family show, the Tom Bernard Show, and then I'll go to the golf show and hang out with Bill Ski, and then I will do the Chris Reavers show. And then I get a big day tomorrow.
You better get some lozenges.
I better get some lozenges.
God, I remember when the show first started and we went to 2 hours. At the end of every day, I could not talk all day.
Well, I know when you talk that long, it's true.
Well, if you're not used to it.
Well, thank you for listening again. And again, I would just like to point out to people, because I do that on purpose. And I know it might seem kind of prickish too, but I don't do it for that reason. I do it to just see how far they'll go. But Kristen Burt and I are very, very good friends. She's not, she gets upset with me about
She's not
that.
a fan of Trump.
No, she does not like Trump at all.
Huge fan.
But I've dealt with people who didn't like Joe Biden at all either. Look, they're president of the United States. They're not your kind of guy. I don't care who it is. You think Abraham Lincoln was your kind of guy?
Wouldn't know.
Yeah,
he was a little bit before my time.
Yeah, he was before both our times.
Few years.
So
minimum.
yes. So the second thing. So please join me tomorrow on KFAN, the Power Trip Morning Show. I'll be doing that for about an hour. Looking forward to that. And then we'll see you here tomorrow at 10:30.
Yep.
All right. Thanks a lot. Talk to you later.
Bye.
Every time I hear the singing reminds me how you talking